Time is the most valuable thing anyone has. It doesn't wait, it doesn't pause, and it never returns once lost. Every second carries the power to shape a life, yet most of us treat it like something endless, something we can waste without consequence. The truth is, the way we use our time often determines whether we build a future we are proud of, or face regrets we can never undo. In this story, you will hear about a girl who takes time for granted, believing she always has tomorrow to chase her dreams. But when she misses an important opportunity, everything changes. Stay with this story until the very end, because the lesson the girl learns about time is something most people only understand when it's already too late. In a quiet neighborhood of Portland, Oregon, lived Daniel Harper and his teenage daughter, Emily Harper. Daniel believed in discipline, purpose, and the importance of every single moment. Emily, however, lived in a world of distractions. Her mornings were late, her homework incomplete, and her dreams of becoming a writer existed only in her thoughts. Every afternoon, Daniel returned from work to find Emily on the couch, her phone glowing in the dim light of the living room. Hours disappeared unnoticed. "Emily," he would say gently, placing his briefcase down, "time is the most valuable thing you have. Once it's gone, you can never get it back." Emily barely looked up. "Relax, Dad. I still have time," she would reply, dismissing his words. Daniel sighed quietly. He knew that time doesn't announce its passing. Opportunities vanish quietly. Dreams are forgotten slowly, until one day you realize how much was lost. He had learned this the hard way. And though Emily couldn't see it yet, her father's concern came from love that wanted her to understand what he had learned too late in life, that time isn't something to waste, and its value can't be measured until it slips away. Little did Emily know, a lesson was coming, one she would not forget. A lesson that would teach her the true power of every second she had been wasting. Emily's days drifted by like clouds in a summer sky, soft, slow, and unnoticed. While her father meticulously planned each hour, she floated through her own, believing she could always make up for lost time later. The contrast between them was striking: Daniel, precise and intentional; Emily, careless and unaware. He tried gentle reminders, hoping words could reach her. "Emily, don't waste your mornings. Use your time wisely," he would say over breakfast, or while she lingered in bed as he left for work. But she shrugged off his advice with a casual smile, convinced that deadlines were far away, and opportunities would always be waiting. Sometimes, Daniel watched her from across the room, a mix of frustration and concern tightening his chest. He remembered his own youth, the mistakes he had made when he ignored the passage of time, the chances he had squandered, the dreams left unfinished. He wanted to spare her that pain, but experience can't be taught. Emily, meanwhile, felt no urgency. She believed life was patient, that she could catch up whenever she wanted. Assignments were postponed, notes were half-written, and ideas for stories were tucked into notebooks that were rarely opened. Each day offered a new opportunity to begin, yet she always chose comfort over action. Even when Daniel tried to inspire her with stories of his own youth or the lessons passed down from her grandfather, Emily nodded politely, but the weight of the words didn't sink in. She couldn't feel the urgency, the pull of time slipping by. It was invisible to her, until the moment when time would finally speak for itself. Daniel knew he couldn't force understanding. Sometimes, life itself becomes the teacher, delivering lessons in ways no words can. And for Emily, that moment of learning was quietly approaching, waiting to arrive when she least expected it, but exactly when she needed it most. One evening, after a long day at work, Daniel returned home with something different in his hands. It wasn't just another item, it was a small wooden box, worn with age but carrying a quiet significance. He had kept it hidden for a long time, waiting for the right moment. "Emily," he said gently, placing the box on the table, "I want to show you something important." Curiosity sparked in Emily's eyes. She set her phone aside, intrigued by the serious tone in her father's voice. Daniel opened the box carefully, revealing an antique watch. Its leather strap was faded, the glass slightly scratched, yet it ticked steadily as if marking every second with purpose. "This watch belonged to your grandfather," Daniel explained. "He gave it to me when I was about your age." Emily examined it, her expression a mix of mild curiosity and indifference. "It's old," she said, almost dismissively. Daniel smiled faintly. "Yes, it's old. But it has taught me lessons I carry to this day." He handed it to her. "Every tick you hear is a second you can never get back. Every moment counts, whether you notice it or not. Your grandfather used to say, don't wait for the perfect moment, make the moment perfect." Emily nodded, trying to absorb the weight of his words. She could feel the rhythm of the ticking watch, but the meaning didn't fully register. She placed it gently on her wrist, the sound faint yet persistent. A reminder that time never stops. Daniel watched her silently, knowing that lessons like these often take root slowly. Sometimes, it isn't enough to tell someone the value of time, they must feel it for themselves. Days passed, and Emily carried the watch with her. It rested on her wrist or sat on her desk as a quiet companion, yet the message remained just words. She thought about her father's speech, repeated the phrases in her mind, but the urgency of time hadn't reached her heart. Schoolwork continued to be delayed, ideas for stories left unfinished, mornings wasted in long stretches of sleep. She would glance at the watch occasionally, but only as a trinket, a family heirloom. Not a mirror reflecting her own choices. Daniel noticed the watch lying untouched more than once, a silent signal that the lesson had yet to sink in. He remembered his own struggles, the times he had ignored the passing hours, and how much it had cost him. He wanted Emily to understand before she faced that same regret. Even as he tried to weave stories of his grandfather and the moments that shaped his life, Emily listened politely, nodding but not truly absorbing the meaning. Words, as Daniel knew, could only go so far. Understanding often comes later, in moments you don't expect. Emily carried on, thinking she had time, thinking deadlines could always be pushed a little further. Little did she know, life was preparing a lesson far stronger than any advice could deliver, one she would feel deep in her heart when the consequences of procrastination finally arrived. Weeks went by, and Emily continued with her usual rhythm. Dreams postponed, time slipping quietly through her fingers. One afternoon, a notification popped up on her laptop, an email from a writing competition she had been excited about months ago. Her eyes widened as she opened it. The deadline, passed 2 days ago, she read aloud, her voice trembling. Panic and disbelief swirled inside her. She had spent months thinking, planning, imagining her entry, but always telling herself, I'll do it tomorrow. And now, tomorrow was gone. Her heart sank. The notes she had scribbled, the half-finished draft, the excitement she had felt, all wasted because she hadn't acted in time. Sitting on the edge of her bed, Emily felt a heavy weight settle in her chest. For the first time, the abstract idea of lost time became painfully real. Every tick of the clock, every moment she had ignored, suddenly screamed in her mind. Regret washed over her, sharp and relentless. She had talked endlessly about her ambitions, yet her actions hadn't matched her words. She realized, with a sting of truth, that talent and ideas mean nothing without the courage to act. The watch on her desk caught her eye, its ticking louder somehow in the silence of her room. It wasn't just a sound, it was a warning, a reminder, a call she could no longer ignore. Emily buried her face in her hands. I wasted time. I could have done it, and now it's gone. For the first time, she felt the true cost of procrastination, the emptiness of potential left unclaimed. And she understood, painfully, that time does not wait for anyone, neither for dreams nor for excuses. That evening, Emily held the old watch in her hands. Tick, tick, tick. The sound seemed louder, heavier, each second reverberating through her chest. She finally listened, not just with her ears, but with her heart. Each tick reminded her of what she had lost. Not just the competition, but pieces of her own potential, opportunities that had quietly slipped away. She could feel the seconds she had taken for granted pressing on her soul. Tears welled in her eyes. The abstract warnings, the repeated advice from her father, now made sense. Time wasn't just a concept, it was a force that shaped life, measured by choices and actions, not intentions. The weight of regret was unbearable, yet it was also enlightening. She finally understood the silent power of time, its unstoppable rhythm, and the responsibility she had ignored. When Daniel knocked and entered the room, he found her sitting still, clutching the watch like it contained all the answers. I missed it, Dad, she whispered, her voice breaking. I wasted my time, and now it's gone. Daniel knelt beside her, placing a gentle hand on her shoulder. Emily, we all lose time, he said softly. What matters is realizing its value before it slips away entirely. And in that moment, Emily understood. For the first time, the lessons weren't just words, they were lived truths. The ticking of the watch was no longer background noise. It was a call to action, and she knew she could never ignore it again. That night, Emily sat quietly, the watch resting in her palm. The ticking echoed in the room, steady and relentless, reminding her that every lost second was gone forever. She thought about all the times she had postponed her dreams, all the tomorrows she had promised herself but never kept. Tears filled her eyes as the weight of regret settled deeper. The writing competition was gone, yes. But even more than that, she felt the loss of countless moments she had wasted on distractions, on scrolling, on thinking without acting. For the first time, she understood the true meaning of her father's words. Time is the most valuable thing you have. She had ignored him for so long, thinking that advice was just cautionary, not urgent. But now, the urgency hit her like a wave, cold, heavy, and undeniable. Emily buried her face in her hands, whispering, I wasted my time. I could have done so much more. Daniel knelt beside her, his presence calm but firm. Emily, he said softly, we all lose time. No one gets through life without mistakes. What matters is that you learn its value before it's too late. Understanding it now gives you a chance to change the rest of your story. Emily looked up, her eyes shining with a mixture of sorrow and newfound clarity. She realized that regret alone could not bring her back the lost moments, but understanding it could guide her future. In that moment, a shift happened inside her. The careless rhythm of her days was replaced by something heavier, something deliberate. She could feel the quiet determination forming, a determination that would carry her forward, one intentional choice at a time. For the first time, Emily truly felt the power of time, and it scared her, but it also inspired her. The following morning, Daniel found Emily at her desk, the old watch before her, her notebook open, and a pen in hand. She hadn't spoken much, but her silence carried something new. Focus. Sitting beside her, Daniel offered a comforting smile. "Emily," he said, "time is the same for everyone. What makes life different is how we use it. You can't get back what's gone, but you can choose what to do with the time you still have." Emily nodded, a lump in her throat. She had finally understood that his lessons were not just advice, they were lifelines. The ticking watch was no longer a background sound. It was a reminder that every moment mattered, every second could shape her future. "I know, Dad," she whispered, her voice steady despite the lingering emotion. "I can't undo what's past, but I can change what comes next. I won't waste any more time." Daniel placed a hand on her shoulder, proud but patient. "It won't be perfect," he said gently. "There will still be stumbles, distractions, moments of doubt. But the important part is that you begin. Consistently, intentionally, and with awareness. That's what makes time valuable." From that day forward, small changes became habits. She woke earlier, planned her days, and prioritized her dreams. The old watch sat beside her notebook as a daily reminder, its ticking now a companion guiding her toward purpose and discipline. Over the following weeks, Emily began to notice subtle changes in herself. Mornings no longer dragged endlessly, instead, she rose with purpose, the ticking of the old watch a quiet nudge to begin her day. Small actions that once felt tedious, writing a paragraph, reviewing notes, organizing her tasks, started to feel meaningful. Each completed task became proof that time, when respected, could yield results. At first, the change was gradual. She still stumbled, still felt the pull of distractions, but the awareness of lost time lingered in her mind like a shadow that refused to leave. She realized that every choice mattered. Even moments spent scrolling or procrastinating were decisions, and she no longer wanted to waste them. Emily's writing, once sporadic and unfinished, began to take shape. Short stories, ideas, and essays flowed onto pages that had been empty for months. She discovered a rhythm, her creativity paired with intention, her dreams now fueled by conscious effort. For the first time, she felt that her ambitions were within reach, not as distant possibilities, but as tangible achievements waiting for action. Emily had transformed. She no longer waited for the perfect moment, because she had learned that perfect moments don't arrive on their own, they are created through action. She had begun to understand that time, once lost, could never be reclaimed, but used wisely, it could build dreams. This story revealed 3 lessons that resonate strongly in today's world. 1. Time is finite and precious. In an age of endless notifications and constant digital distractions, every second counts. Procrastination and delay can quietly rob people of opportunities, just as Emily nearly lost her chance at the writing competition. 2. Action matters more than intention. Dreams and plans mean nothing if they remain only in thought. In today's fast-paced world, the difference between success and regret lies in turning ideas into tangible effort. 3. Discipline creates freedom. By managing her hours, prioritizing goals, and making conscious choices, Emily discovered that structure didn't limit her, it gave her control, clarity, and the ability to grow in meaningful ways. In a world full of distractions, Emily's story is a reminder: time isn't just something we have, it's something we choose to use. And when we use it intentionally, we create a life of purpose, growth, and fulfillment. If there is anything you have been wanting to start but didn't, stop procrastinating and start now, because time will not wait for you. Every single hour you invest in yourself today is building the person you will become tomorrow. Remember, your time is valuable, every second gone is gone forever. So I want to hear from you. What is that one thing you've been delaying that you know you should start today? Write your answer in the comments below. If this story touched your heart and made you think differently about your time, then like this video and share it with someone who needs it. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications for more inspirational and educational stories like this. See you in the next video.